Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Aloha Pools and Spas Deep Dive Podcast. I'm John Watts, your host, along with Brad Cook, and today we have Stuart, and I'm going to butcher your last name, Eberle?
Eberle.
Yeah, see, I told you I was going to butcher it. I did.
Give me that.
And what is it? Hello, Garage.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Stuart is from Hello Garage, and Stuart and his family started this business a few years ago, I guess, and we'll let you tell us all about it. But we are actually customers of Stuart.
Oh, nice.
He redid our floors at the new O'Fallon location.
Wonderful. So, they look nice.
Thank you.
Good work.
It looks like, and if there's one thing I know, and I guess we'll get into that later, but I know they did a good job, and I can tell you why later. But so Stuart, tell me kind of tell us what you do.
Well, we're Hello Garage of O'Fallon, Illinois. We're part of a national franchise that was started by Support Works Foundation family in Omaha, Nebraska, about 10 years ago. They did 3 satellite locations and decided that they could be profitable in the franchise marketing. And since then, we've expanded from Napa Valley, California, to Orlando, Florida, to Long Island, and all points in between. There are 2 franchises in the St. Louis area, one from Missouri, and we have all of southern Illinois.
Gotcha.
While we do have a franchise territory, anything that is not someone else's franchise territory, we're free to go into. Yeah. And because of the rural area, we're willing to go anywhere a customer would like our services and products provided. And we recently just did a sales appointment in Springfield. We've been almost down to Paducah. We've been almost down over to the Indiana border. And all our sales appointment on those trips are free. We offer free assessments, doing interior and exterior concrete coatings is our main swim lane. And we do that with using a product called polyaspartic. It is an epoxy alternative. It was first developed by Rhino Corporation, Rhino Bed Truck Liners, decades ago. Since then, it's been not a trade secret or a patent anymore. It's industry-wide, and it's available. Our competitors may still use epoxy or epoxy blends, coatings, or polyureas, cut costs. We have committed to using 100% polyaspartic in our installations. And for Aloha Pools, I'm proud to say a very specific reason is when they went into their new building, they have about 2 stories of glass on the front. And when the sunlight,
beautiful, but lots of sunshine.
And when the sunshine comes through that, an epoxy floor would yellow. And as they move the hot tubs around on the floor, and you're going to have yellow and white spots with epoxy. But with polyaspartic, we warranty that they will not discolor. The SPF rating on our products is about 294.
Wow.
And then so far, they've been rolling hot tubs and spas and small pools across the lobby there, and we've not been called back for any damage for repair.
Oh, no. And in fact, we have a tent full of hot tubs out there right now, and they all came off the floor. When I went in the other day, I thought, well, where are all the hot tubs? Because we had about 16 in the back, and I'm thinking, why didn't you just take some of these hot tubs? But anyway, they took them all off the floor, and that's a real beating, because especially we're like I tell people we're like the gorillas in the Samsonite commercial. If something can be tore up, we will tear it up. And so, and you can't tell that anybody's been in there moving hot tubs around, and that's kind of what I this is not my first store to put in, and that's I wanted something that was, it started off with tile, and I knew tile wasn't going to last. It was quite dated looking, so I wanted to be able to get a fork truck in there on it, and so I thought, well, these cars running in and out of garage floors, why wouldn't we do that? And I wanted it to look more like the sand of a beach. And so I got that color. I got to pick out the color that I wanted of it. And and the guys spent probably more time preparing the concrete than they did applying the solution, which was what I was going to say when we first started talking, is that it's more any type of concrete coating that you do, it does not matter. The first thing you got to do is get it prepared right. And those guys busted their tails for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before they ever did anything to the top of the concrete. And that's why I have utmost confidence that it's going to last, and that utmost confidence that these guys, if they do your garage floor or your sidewalk, or we're going to get into that, whatever else, that it's going to work, it's going to last. And they are stand-up people. I've had them to come back and do some stuff that, in retrospect, I feel bad for them, and they won't quit coming back. They're not going to stop coming back until we're satisfied, and that means a lot to me. And I'll just thank you right here for that.
Thank you,
because it's been, and I can't. Every trip you come back, that's money out of your pocket, and so I know that, and I appreciate that. But I trust that that's the long game, and that that will serve you well. So you're welcome to keep your stuff there, your signs and everything there anytime. But you pointed over here at the swim spa, and I was naming off all the things that you do around a pool, and I got a cheat sheet here, but I'm not gonna look. Tell me kind of what this is applied, outdoor usage, indoor too, but outside of the garage floor, which is the only thing I associate this system with. Outside of the garage floor, what else can you do with this?
Well, we do patios. We do the concrete decks around swimming pools. The polyaspartic, when we apply to exterior surfaces, we add a mixture of polypropylene beads as well as aluminum oxide, which gives it a gritty feeling.
Oh, okay.
So it makes it less slippery than polished concrete or bare concrete, adding some level of safety. How much, I can't tell you, other than without the slip resistance added, our slip coefficient is greater than that required by OSHA to put in a wet space.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wow.
So as long as you don't have the kids running around the pool.
So leave up the no running around the pool signs.
Yeah, and but have this. It's not uncomfortable, but it's a rough feeling under your feet. It doesn't hurt. I don't have a pool outside, but I have been told by our clients when they go from a bare concrete to the polyaspartic, it feels cooler.
Right.
The only thing I can associate that with is because the clear top coat would reflect light and heat away.
Makes sense.
Versus absorbing it into the concrete pad.
Right. And you said something about doing the concrete deck, and the slipperiness. So we're constantly doing stamped concrete. We do a lot of stamped concrete. And when you color stamped concrete, the only way for it to stay colored, stay vibrant, is to put a sealer on it. And if you really want it to look its best, you put an acrylic sealer on it. And you put an additive in the acrylic sealer to help slow down on the slipperiness, or you can speak that language better than I can, but make it less slippery, in layman's terms. And yet, you get out there on your wet feet, it's just less slippery. It's not slippery.
Right,
correct.
So that's a really hard thing to do. If you're going to protect your surface, you're going to run up against that a little bit. And I think as it ages, it gets a little less slippery over time. I'm not sure about your product, but I know the acrylic does. But at the same time, the acrylic does not last as long as what you're doing, because yours is probably a one-time coating. Is that right? Or outdoor,
correct.
Does it require any upkeep?
Exterior, we warranty for 5 years, but I'm in business for the long run. Only when it was definitely something that was once that the customer understood that the product failed, not due to our installation, that we asked for assistance in the cost repair. All of our other customers, when they have a ding or a scratch or a crack, we go by and we take care of it. We want them to tell the neighbors
exactly
that we came by and we took care of it.
We got that referral. And I was saying, when you're 5 years down the road, let's just say you put that around your pool. Is there any maintenance on any recoating or anything like that we have to consider?
Not with the polyaspartic.
Yeah. Okay.
And while our franchise has been in national for 5 years now,
Right.
We haven't gotten to the 5-year date. I hope it lasts forever.
Right.
It being polyaspartic, it's a lighter molecule than an epoxy, so it absorbs deeper into the pores of the concrete. And you mentioned our preparation. Part of preparation is to diamond grind it with industrial grade diamond grinders, and to bring it out, open the pores so it does adhere and sink down in deep. The polyaspartic, again, being a lighter molecule. Epoxy themselves are heavier molecules, and they don't absorb into concrete as well, but they're more thick, if you will. And while they're more thick, they start curing on the top of the surface before they ever absorb in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sorry to jump around, but I was thinking about that pool deck out there. Have you dealt? I know you at our place you dealt with a crack going across the floor, and I can't remember exactly what you did. So if somebody were to say my concrete is all cracked up, and is this a solution for them, perhaps?
The polyaspartic coating is. We would use a product called crack fill, which bonds concrete edges to each other after using a hand grinder with a vacuum system to grind that crack out, open it up, and fill it. It is exothermic reaction, which means as it's in the crack, it will start to heat up and expand to the point that it's above the level of the concrete. And we then have to grind over again to make it smooth. But after we apply the first color coat of polyaspartic to the base, and that's the one that really binds and absorbs to the concrete, that crack disappears. You don't see the cracks anymore after we're done.
Wow. And that's something that we've never figured out as a pool company to be able to go out to somebody's backyard and take a concrete crack and make it disappear. So I guess what you're saying is it's you got that bonding, it holds it together. And and I've always heard that the concrete is going to re-crack, but the bonding is keeping it from cracking. Do you ever saw another relief joint in it, or do you saw through that one to try to give it a place for it to open up, or how does that work? Or do you just
That goes a lot back to the original pour. There should be control joints regularly put through the concrete,
Right.
creating smaller pads around the pool and from the foundation and runoff of water from the house. You're going to get water into the dirt and the soil, and it's going to move that concrete.
right?
So while we fix the cracks, that will bond the slab. I'll get back to that. But the control joints themselves, we leave open, but
Right.
seal with a sealer and cover it with a colored sand. So instead of having a big gray caulking through
Right.
the middle, you have a colored sand that blends with the concrete finish that's around it and makes it very less noticeable, very aesthetic. If it's a significant concrete that we think that we will reopen, we have a process where not only we cut the crack open linear, we will go across it and put in what we call splices that are rebar
Right.
to help hold that even more.
I've heard it called like staples.
Staples,
Stitches. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's a matter of putting metal that's used in rebar foundation across that. It's rigid, and then we put the crack fill around it, reinforcing it that way.
Yeah, and and that's an effective way. We've seen that done in swimming pools, and we've done it a couple times in swimming pools. Swimming pool cracks. Typically, it's hard for it to leak a lot of water, but sometimes they open on up a little bit, and so you've got to come in with with the right type of filler and do that staple work. We did one in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, a few years ago, and it's kind of looks like an operation, and.
But after we've done with the stitching and we grind over it again and put the polyaspartic over the top, you don't know it's there.
Right. Yeah. And again, that's kind of like one of those things you learn at the show that you didn't didn't know, and then I didn't know that you could do that and keep it from cracking again. So that's pretty cool.
You guys keep talking about colors, and I'm looking over there, and it looks like the this is your booth. I can see that you can't see, but I can see, and I see it looks like a white coating with some black sprinkles in it or whatever from here. Am I seeing that correctly? Or
We have two base coats, beige and gray, and we use have 17 different colors of flake that we
okay,
manufacture in mass, and will the gray flake colors will go to the gray base coat, and the brown colors will go to the beige. That doesn't mean that's our only colors. Because we can produce those in large quantity, we can reduce the cost and not have to keep the inventory. But we can do any custom color the client wants, and we have a computer program that mixes those colors.
Jerry Portel.
yeah, we've got this happens every so
Jerry
often.
Portel, report to the front.
How many of these have we done today?
Pruitt.
Like
Seven?
We've done 7.
Please report to
Six
the
or seven.
front.
Yeah,
Door
and they'll get us
and
about every
Yeah.
every other podcast.
I can't express the gratitude for having the privilege to be here. and talk with
Yeah,
you.
well,
Oh yeah.
pick back up to where you were. If
Yeah, so if I had say like an orange, and I keep going to orange. I don't know. Orange is my favorite color. So,
Yeah,
but
mine too.
then
Okay.
and I wanted to have the little flakes that kind of were a color that an accent color for my entire garage or whatever, because let's say it's a Tennessee sporting event type situation, and I wanted that orange flake in there. You could do that.
well, let me stop you right there. This is where we all have a common thread here. Are you a Tennessee fan?
So Tennessee's my second team.
Okay, well,
You don't
that's
want to
fair.
hear my first
I
team.
do
That's
not.
Ohio State.
No, I do not want to hear that. I said I did not want to hear that. No, I'm not a hater of Ohio.
I was
State.
born in Ohio, but I live in Tennessee, and I'm still a Tennessee fan.
Well, this guy, that's kind of where we hit it off, because we're both Tennessee fans. He's
Gotcha.
We've suffered for several years together as a
Well,
Tennessee fan. So
I'm proud to say, and every time I meet another of the faithful volunteer Big Orange, I tell people I owe my life to the University of Tennessee because that's where my parents met in college.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I grew up, those of you that know the history of listening to John Ward give him 6.
Heck
I
yeah.
had an autographed football of
Chill bumps.
Conrad
Nice.
Holloway, and my high school football coach was 1965 All-American consensus Dewey Warren, known as the Swamp Rat.
Okay.
He coached us in my junior and senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to drop a name. You know Chad Clifton? Played one of the linemen for Tennessee. He played for the Vols and then went on to play for Green Bay. Got hit by Warren Sapp, all that. He played on my high school team with me. I was in high school with him. So, yeah, I grew up listening to Vols radio and all that. I was a big Tennessee fan, but Ohio State's first in my heart.
Understand?
Yeah. Well, enough about Ohio State. So let's talk about that orange.
The
floor
flake,
that
the
you're talking
color,
about.
those.
Absolutely. We'll assess your garage, determine the level of preparation it's going to need, cracks, staining, open joints, flaking, and all that's determined into the cost, but it's not significant. It's not much more than it would cost for pay somebody to tile your floor or carpet your floor when you consider it's about the installation. And then we would, from our company, order the base color, which would be an orange, and then you could order the flake and mix it the way you want it. We actually have a computer program that will mix it so you'll have an idea what it looks like. And if you want your logo put into the polyaspartic, we can get a vinyl
Uh-oh.
I was going there.
decal, if you will, lay it down and clear coat across the top of
Well,
it.
he's excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, our Aloha logo, but I was just thinking about that big T, that power T.
Oh, yeah.
But how cool that would look in somebody's garage. But I guess if we're in this area, what would we be looking at? I'm trying to
Still
think.
in Illinois?
Mizzou,
Mizzou
Cardinals.
or the Cardinals. I think you could probably.
Yeah.
we got the big blue note, St. Louis Blues.
That's right. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's a big deal.
And
Yeah.
a lot of passion for the city soccer team.
Oh, really?
as well. I never knew soccer was that big, but St. Louis history goes all the way back to some of the early days in the early 1900s. Some of the greatest soccer teams came from St. Louis University to play international.
Interesting.
And it's lost history here, and it's coming back with soccer, but it's pretty popular.
Well, good. That's good. Somebody was telling me the other day they were from New Zealand or somewhere across the pond or across the pond the other direction or whatever. They were saying, like, you guys, you guys do know that football, your football, you barely even use your foot. Like, why do you call it football? The football is soccer. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's just, for whatever reason,
Our handball was taken.
Yeah.
right.
So I noticed that you don't just do concrete and garage floors and cotton pull decks, but cabinets, storage, and accessories like all that. You had a really cool display over there on all those. Tell me about that.
Well, thank you. As our franchise developed, they realized there's an opportunity when a client has to move everything out of their garage to do the floor, that this is the time to think about improving the storage system in their garage, whether it's slat wall systems that we have, or the industrial grade cabinets. We have an industrial grade cabinet that mounts to the wall. It's made by Lozier, the same company that makes the fixtures for Walgreens. Very heavy steel and very heavy grade material, and you can feel it when you touch it. Each shelf will hold 300 pounds. A unit itself is rated at 1,000 pounds, so you can put 3 shelves, load them 300 pounds, and have an extra 100 pounds left. Now, just recently at our last owners meeting in January, they introduced a new line. A lot of clients really still wanted the traditional cabinet system that sits on the floor, pushes up against the wall, and it stays there forever. Well, that same system was introduced, and we put it on sale starting tomorrow. We had to pull teeth to get it here to the show today to display it. But it also has feet on it that can be leveled out on an uneven surface, up and down. We can put it on rollers, or we can mount it to the wall. Again, it's a system that holds a lot of weight. It's custom built and custom designed. But really important on the designs. If you want your garage design, we have it's simple CAD system, but we can show you what your garage will look like, including the flooring and the cabinets and any slat wall or other accessories we put in before we even put the grinder on the floor. So you can see the finished product, to include overhead storage systems.
Your mic is down.
I'm with you. There's a little bit of extra noise, so I'm trying to control that too. And
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
because I was thinking, when you're talking with somebody about redoing their garage floor, and they're gonna be out, and I was surprised about how reasonable a garage floor might cost to redo based on what we spent on that gigantic showroom. By comparison, I didn't think that was a bad price for the work that you did. It was a lot of work, but I could just see a homeowner and the two sitting there, and you showing this floor, and they're, once you get into a project, just for a little bit more and a little bit more effort, you could really get almost like a total makeover of your garage, because when you go into a lot of garages, especially ours, that it's not organized, and then by it not being organized, it's cluttered, and the clutter drives my wife crazy, absolutely crazy, and it actually looking over there thinking, okay, if I ever get a garage, I'm gonna do, and I might not do the floor part first, but that system over there looks amazing. I mean, you can just visualize all the tools, everything tied up against the wall, and and the shelves, and the whole, you got this little center of okay, there's something needed to be fixed in the house. I know right where to go, because it's all sitting there in one place. It's organized, and you can think about it when you look at what are the chores, what are the replaceables that you got to do? The air filters, the light bulbs,
right.
And the mops and the things that don't necessarily that take up space maybe on the inside now. It's just all the tools that it might take to do some little tweaking of some doorknobs and things like that. It's all there in one place. I just think that would be a really neat thing to do, and I think you're going to be really successful with, when you roll all this stuff out there.
Well, a little bit about the storage systems and how we can benefit the customer is during the process of doing the floor, there comes a period that we put the base coat on in the flake. That flake has to dry and stick to the floor, usually anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. And while that's happening, I have to pay my employees to watch paint dry.
There you go.
So when a client would like to put in storage systems, that's when we can discount a lot because
Oh yeah.
they have marked the walls while the other person was grinding in the morning, and they walk right across the flake, put up 6 shelves in less than an hour, and for every shelving unit, based on quantity of scale, I'm able to give more discount
Right.
To the customer to include not only the cabinets and the floor. And as they put the items back into their storage system the next day, because we have a very short cure time of 24 hours, whatever they don't want to keep that may be of value, we will load into our truck or trailer and take to Habitat for Humanity, Salvation Army, or Goodwill on the closest airline as we pass it, and try to repurpose and recycle as much as we can before discarding any waste that client may still have. That there's some trash, can you take that for us? And
Right.
we do that as part of our service at no additional charge.
That's neat. That's really cool that you can do that. And so, you've got the first day here at the home show. You got your place there at Aloha to send people to advertise. And what else before we go here? What else have we maybe not covered that you'd like to say to the world?
Well, when I say we do interior and exterior concrete coating, we do concrete staining and sealing, as well as, in layman's term, caulked control joints that have been exposed and open that allow water under the exterior concrete and that can raise and lower a pad with freezing and thawing. We had one client that said, I'm not interested in staining my driveway, I just want to seal it. And I said, well, it costs the same, and if you look, those pads are a different color due to time and wear. So we do chemically etch that, power wash it, and then we'll apply 2 coats of stain to equalize the color. Then we would caulk with product we have, Nexus Pro, and then rub the colored sand into it so you don't have the ugly gray big caulk lines down, but a coloring mixed into it that matches the tint of the concrete next to it and creates
I would
a beautiful
love to
space.
see that. I want to see that because I know that sometimes we get a different load of concrete that's not quite the same as another load, and we try to get it where we cut a joint between loads, but sometimes it'll get mixed over or whatever. So, but for whatever reason, though, if it can't be color matched, it could be the whole thing could be a new color. I could see that as being a thing. We might be a customer again
I'd
when it
love
gets
to
out
serve
to
you.
to kind of pretty things up, because it's a brand new pool with concrete, and that other load is just for whatever reason. I'm not gonna accuse a concrete truck of giving me the rest of somebody else's load that they didn't use, but whatever. And so we've had to deal with that before. So that's a good option, perhaps. Stuart, I appreciate you very much for coming on. Appreciate the great work that you did there, and I hope that if one person sees this and buys it from you, it will be considered worth our time to do that. So,
Well, I have had nothing but a wonderful relationship with Aloha Pools.
I appreciate that.
Jennifer and yourself and Stephen and staff have always, we've become a second family. We're in and out all the time. And I just, it's been an amazing relationship. So I
Good.
thank you for having us here.
You're very welcome.
Awesome.
That's
Thanks.
that's the only type of relationship I prefer to have if we can. And
So,
yeah.
folks can go to hellogarage.com. How can they reach you here? Or is all the information's on there? Or
We have a website. It is Hello Garage of O'Fallon. Just one straight word. When you do the O'Fallon, you have to put the of O'Fallon in.
okay.
And that would take them to our website. That is a mix of both my local marketing as well as our national franchise support mixed in. You'll see our before and after
Okay.
projects we've done, as well as media that has been produced at our home office to demonstrate our capabilities and show our products and services.
Awesome. Well,
Sure.
thanks again for
Thank you.
coming on. We appreciate your time with us here today. This has been another edition of the Aloha Pools and Spas Deep Dive Podcast from the HBR Home Expo. I think that's correct. I think that's
You're
correct.
close.
Yeah, something. What
If not
what is
right
it?
on it? Right.
Well, anyway, so what we say to end every podcast is dive safely.
There you go.
Thank you.